Most significant perspective-changing observations. The journey into the exploration into our creativity revealed a variety of topics and concepts that, if better understood, could greatly enhance our creative power and creative ability. Many of these are addressed in some way in varying detail in the RYUC material. The file entitled List of Topics accessible through the RYUC website was an attempt to capture many of these concepts in one place. However, there are a few observations that radically changed my perception and understanding of and about what it means to be a human being, the nature of creation, and the importance of our creativity and how we can use our creative imagination found within the human mind. The perspective-changing observations are briefly overviewed here. Each is further discussed in the RYUC websites and YouTube recordings. However, an experiential understanding of each and the implications of each is vastly different than simply understanding of the mind as to what each really means. What is described here are concepts that ultimately need to be both intellectually understood and experientially observed. Probably the most profound observation was the existence of what I come to call our creative spirit within each of us. It is what animates our life and the source of our creative life energy that sustains us. It is recognized by the feeling it creates within us. Often felt in the heart area of the body, it is what gives us a passion for life and for living. Most importantly, it is creative. If it is not allowed to flow to create the experience it incarnated to have, the individual will feel something is missing in life, and often there will be a discomfort within, if not an outright pain. Sometimes this pain is experienced as a longing for something or someone, or simply an intense discomfort or pain the individual tries to numb in some way. In looking at this creative spirit, it became clear we each have a life path. That is, there's a path in life we incarnated to travel. Analogously, in many ways, it's like choosing to take a very long trip with multiple stopping points along the way. It can be seen as a destiny, but it's much different than that. We do have a free will, and part of the life path journey is to exercise that free will and learn how to effectively use our creative imagination. When aligned with this life path, there is a flow to our life and an inner satisfaction with the life we experience, even with what we call difficulties and troubles. The most perspective-changing observation was a result of adopting a creativity perspective. The creativity perspective is where one holds their creativity and the creativity of any other as sacred. Alternatively said, it is about looking to see where I, myself, or any other with whom I was interacting was not free to explore and pursue possible options. Simply said, it's about answering the question, why this way versus any other way for a given situation. Using the creativity perspective led me to understand creation, alternatively said, the universe, does not work the way our mind thinks it does. Our mind can approximate aspects of how creation works, and sometimes with seemingly very good approximations, but it'll always be limited and often incorrect in its interpretations. But mind, of course, will think it is correct when it really is not. You may ask, how could I make such a statement? The answer is simply to detach, stand back, and observe and look for that one way that creation works that can give people all the experiences they're having. In time, one can come to see all the pieces of what appears to be a puzzle coming together to form a picture. The challenge is not to get lost in any of the details and the, quote, drama that is created around any one of the pieces. And, of course, it is to know the picture that appears is ultimately incorrect and only the best that our mind can give in that moment. So you may ask, what is the true nature of creation? My response is to detach, stand back, and observe, and know how your interpretation, what you are seeing and experiencing, is probably incorrect. But in that knowing, you can get a glimmer of what is really occurring. And if you are listening to your heart, you will know what action you need to take. Now, one thing that became very clear is what can be called a love behind and giving rise to creation. But it's not love as most understand love. Based on my experience and observations, there is a love which can best be described that which will nurture the true needs of any creation. When the true needs of a creation are met, the creation will grow and flower and unfold true to its authentic self. As with any flower, analogously, the creation will germinate, grow, bud, blossom, flower, and the fruit or the fragrance will go into the world. So too for each human being when our true needs are met. Contrary to what one may feel or experience in their life, their true needs are being nourished by creation. But here again, what the human mind perceives and interprets is incorrect about the experience one has. Of course, you can always ask the universe, why am I being blank? And you can fill in the blank with whatever the appropriate word is. But you may not like the answer you get when you ask why. In any case, there is a phenomenal power in love when one learns to nurture the true needs of any other. Within this journey, the depth and breadth of the creative power and creative ability we each have became more and more obvious when I began to really look at the power of clear intention and what intentions I and the individuals were actually holding. Clear intention is about getting clarity about the root of the intention. I found it was essential that we have extremely clear intention and understanding of our motives if we really want to explore the depth and breadth of our creativity. In my discussion on creativity, I usually talk about creative power and creative ability. What I found was poorly understood is that there are two parts to any creative effort. Everything is animated by energy. So there is the energy and passion necessary to act on any desired thought. The energy is needed to fuel, animate, and nurture the creation. As such, the energy can be seen as the feminine aspect of creation. Similarly, there is a necessary understanding of the ability to act on any thought we have and to choose to thrust out and act on that thought. As such, consciousness can be seen as the masculine aspect of creation. Both the energy and the conscious awareness are needed to manifest any creation. I said previously, creation does not work as our mind perceived. In this regard, my observations revealed that the stuff of creation is what our mind can call energy consciousness. What we perceive as energy or consciousness simply depends on how we focus our awareness. To really understand our creativity, we need an understanding of both. But I will say what gives rise to creation is only what our mind perceives and interprets to be energy and consciousness. What gives rise to creation lies beyond these two concepts. However, it is clear there is a oneness to creation and all arises out of the same stuff of creation and all is interconnected. The fact that one does not see, feel, or otherwise sense a oneness does not mean it does not exist. Similarly, the fact one can say they had an experience of oneness spontaneously, or in following a path or ritual, or as a result of some psychedelic experience, that experience is filtered by the human mind. As such, it is inaccurate in some way. This fact does not negate or play down the importance of the experience and the information it contains. Nevertheless, we still need to be very aware of the fact the human mind will be inaccurate in how it attempts to characterize any aspect of the unseen realms of creation, and that each individual will have an individual interpretation of what they experienced. Part of understanding this is to understand how incredibly unique the perception of each individual is. The world I grew up in, I was led to believe the normal distribution was more than adequate to describe human beings in almost every way. Everything seemed to center around a most probable value with variations within the distribution. However, in exploring creativity and working with the creativity of individuals, I come to understand each of us are incredibly and unbelievably unique creations. No one perceives and experiences creation as you do. Nobody has your pain. Nobody has your joy. Nobody has your suffering, and we each have to learn to accept this. We cannot look to anybody to do anything for us in these areas. Happiness comes from within and is not dependent on the external world. It is how we choose to respond to what is external to us and how we choose to use our creative imagination. It is our choice. We cannot expect to be fully understood or fit in with the crowd. We each need to learn to understand and accept our differences and not deny them. Rather, we need to learn how to use them. They are part of the gift we have to give. The challenge is to learn to be in our uniqueness and dance with the external world and what it asks of us. It is an invitation to embrace our unique creativity. Consequently, I found in working with individuals there is no solution as such. I had to learn to work with the uniqueness of each individual in the moment and change myself to accommodate what they were choosing to experience. In coming to understand all arises out of the same stuff of creation, such that in its essence all is the same, and yet we and our experiences are incredibly unique, I pondered, how does this creation work? How does creation do this? What I come to understand here again is only approximation to what is really occurring. It is that creation is magical enough through the interconnectedness arising from the oneness that it will form itself to whatever we choose to experience. What I come to understand is there is an orchestration to creation. If you wish, think of a large symphonic orchestra playing a complex orchestration of melodies, counter-melodies, simultaneously different melodies playing together and the like. Make it as complicated as you like, yet each musician has an instrument that they must know how to play, and then they have to play their part as orchestrated. Otherwise, the overall symphony does not sound right. Nothing is gained in the orchestration if one musician's trying to play the part of another, or not paying attention to their part of the music as it is orchestrated. So too creation. In the oneness of creation and the interconnectedness of all that exists, there is a communication that arranges all of the desired parts to be played. That is, what a particular individual consciousness desires to experience is arranged in the life path for their incarnation. If you wish, look at the individual life path as the piece of music they will play. In incarnating, they are given the unique instruments they will use. That is, they are given a unique human body that is perfect for the part that they choose to play. As such, they will need to learn how to use their instrument and become aware of the unique part in the orchestration. The part they are to play is encoded in their life path and experienced by their creative spirit, by their creative heartfelt passion. The symbolism of our heart as to what gives us a passion for life and for living is the direction we need to go in life to play the role we have been given. I have found the most beneficial thing I can do for any individual is inspire them to access and live the passion of their heart the best they can. Then empower them to do so, and, as the situation asks, give them the safe place to live that passion.